G'day everybody and welcome back to the House of Mario. This Encore we're celebrating Pokemon's 25th year anniversary with a little ranking of my top 25 favourite Pokemon throughout the entire series. Really looking forward to getting into this and diving into some of my favourite Pokemon, some of the memories I have associated with them, and, you know, some of them I like them just because they look cool. Like, that's where it comes down to. But a lot of them, man, there's some heavy nostalgia with a lot of them, and I'm looking forward to getting into talking all about that. So, if you enjoyed the episode, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, and if you don't, well, that's cool too. I appreciate you listening, so let's dive into it. But to start off things, I've got a little wooden spoon event going on. I've got my 4 Pokemon that I really don't like, and I'm going to get this out the way fairly quickly. Because, honestly, going through the whole national decks, these are the only 4 Pokemon. I had that feeling in my heart where I'm like, you know what? I really don't like you. I really don't like these Pokemon. So, the first one in, Pokedex order is the evolution introduced in Generation 4 to Lickitung, who is Licky Licky. Licky Licky is just dumb looking. I know that necessarily like Lickitung isn't the most, coolest looking Generation 1 Pokemon. Honestly, he's probably the most forgotten Generation 1 Pokemon. But Licky Licky just doesn't do it for me. Like, all of the other evolutions introduced to, Rhydon, being Rhyperior, you had Togekiss, you had Porygon Z, you had some great evolutions introduced in there, but Licky Licky, not so much. Even stats-wise, it wasn't really worth the evolution, but, you know, maybe it'll get a Mega Revolution or a Gigantamax form, or even another evolution one day. Who knows? Regardless, you know, it's one of the 4 Pokemon I dislike the most, unfortunately. Moving on is one of the starters in Generation 5. And when I first saw Tepig, really liked him. I thought it would be an absolutely wonderful addition. Really looked forward to what it would evolve into. Then evolving into Pignite, then Emboar, which don't like much at all, to be all honest with you. It's just sucks. And there's a bit of a backstory to that. So in Generation 3, there was Blaziken, who was a fire fighting type. And Blaziken was awesome. Absolutely loved using it. His signature move, Blaze Kick, was a lot of fun to use. Really strong. And into Generation 4, we got another fire fighting type, which was kind of weird. It's like you're doubling down on like a pretty similar looking Pokemon. You had Infernape, who just pretty much filled the same role. Firefighting type, very strong offensively, not so much defensively, and did kind of the same thing, just it was a monkey. And Infernape is really cool. I love Infernape, but it's kind of like, why was there another firefighting type? Regardless, moving on to the next generation, they did it again. Another firefighting type, bit differently designed, obviously a bit more bulky, sort of more defensive typed Pokemon, and based off sort of the Japanese warrior type of aesthetic. You know, I can see why people would like it, but I just, at the time, I was like, you gotta be kidding. I was so over it. Like, why would you do another firefighting type? Relatively, when the other types were getting so diverse. Like, you had Sceptile, then Torterra going on to Servine. It's just those very different Pokemon in the grass line, but the fire types are exactly the same. So, pretty disappointing. And I guess with some more Generation 5 Pokemon, we've got Squawk and Throw. To me, they're kind of the same Pokemon, but they're like a duo. They're sort of a counterpart to Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee in the first generation of the Pokemon series, and it's just, in my opinion, they're plain awful. I don't think many people like them, but if you're out there and if you love any of these 4 Pokemon, that's fine. I'm happy. I love you. Please don't take my opinion too seriously. But man, these Pokemon suck. Like, just using them, they're boring. Aesthetically, they look pretty silly. The idea of them actually having their own, I guess, karate suits. Sorry, I don't know the correct terminology. My partner would actually kill me. She's a black belt in Taekwondo. I probably should know. But yeah, really not a fan of them. I wasn't a fan then, and I haven't really come around on them at all. I've come around a little bit on Emboar, but Squawk and Throw, no. But what really rubs it in about Squawk as well, on Pokemon Go especially, there's a Squawk that actually literally stalks me at my house. Literally, it won't go away. The other day, it was at my house. I was looking at it. I'm like, I don't want to catch you. I don't want to waste any balls. I'm trying to save up for a couple of events that are coming out at the end of the month, saving my Pokeballs, but this goddamn squawk would not leave me alone. It was literally here all day. Didn't catch it. I'm like, go away. I want something else to spawn here. So even Pokemon Go 10 years later is rubbing it in my face. But I really do not like these things. But regardless, Jesus, I can't stand the goddamn things. But luckily they're Pokemon, and I can. There's another 800 and so Pokemon that I can enjoy. So it doesn't matter too much. The days of 150 Pokemon are well behind us. We've got plenty of Pokemon to choose from. Speaking of which, I've got some honorable mentions here. So I'm going to go through these in Pokedex order. These are not ordered. So Ivysaur, Squirtle, pretty obvious, Generation 1 starters. I choose Ivysaur over, I guess, a Bulbasaur or Venusaur, just because I think its design is still cute like Bulbasaur and like cool and menacing, I guess, like Venusaur. A bit of a combination, and sort of using them in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and that sort of gave me a bit more love for the character. Same as Squirtle. I remember when I was a kid, I absolutely loved Squirtle. Not as much as Charmander, but we'll get into that. I actually had a pet sheep that I named Squirtle, and don't know why would you have a pet sheep named Squirtle, but I like Squirtle. I had a sheep, so I called it. So I got a Squirtle. Pidgeot, absolutely love Pidgeot. I always had one on my Generation 1 games. Nicknamed it Ace all the time. I thought that was a cool name for a Pidgeot. Eevee, really cool Pokemon. Can change into many different types of Pokemon. But my favorite Eevee evolution would be Vaporeon. Vaporeon always evolved my Eevee, into a Vaporeon. Really cool Pokemon. I feel like it's one of the strongest ones, especially out of the original set. Flareon wasn't very strong. It's a cool, cute Pokemon, but I never really enjoyed Flareon that much just because of its move set was pretty unfortunate for that type of Pokemon. And Jolteon's really cool, but Vaporeon just takes it for me. Gengar, what can I say about Gengar? Gengar is awesome, awesome type Pokemon. Snorlax. The Pokemon original episode of the anime, which featured Snorlax, and they had to, Ash and Misty and Brock had to get him out the way. I thought that was really, really cool. That's an episode that's really stuck in my mind. Zapdos, one of my favorite legendary birds. Generation 1 games, I always seem to have a Zapdos, especially when I was a kid, because that's the easy option, having a legendary. Mewtwo, really, really cool Pokemon. Meganium, I loved Meganium. It would have been one of my favorite Pokemon, but I remember playing through Heart Gold, Soul Silver when it first came out, and I chose Chikorita. Love Chikorita, but later on in the game, like just Meganium stats, like for those that don't know, pretty much Meganium stats, they're all equal. It's a very, well-rounded Pokemon, but it basically made it just the master of nothing, really. It wasn't good defensively. It wasn't good at attack. It wasn't that fast. So it kind of sucked on my team compared to everything else, which is really unfortunate. Totodile. I've become more of a fan of Totodile over time. Just love its absolute jolly natured. It's awesome. Crobat, just another really cool Pokemon. I used it on my team to track down roaming Pokemon with Mean Look, and it was just an absolutely fantastic Pokemon doing that. Sudowoodo was actually one of my favorite Pokemon when I was a kid, believe it or not. It's just it's such a weird Pokemon, and I absolutely love it. And the other day in Pokemon Go, I actually found a shiny just randomly. He wasn't actually looking for it or anything, but came across it, and man, really happy about that. The next one is Kingdra, which is I've got a lot of cool Pokemon. That's how I describe them. He's a cool Pokemon. But my main memory of Kingdra is having it in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And this is probably the game where I really looked into getting a competitive team together. And I had it with Focus Energy. I had the ability Sniper. And I had the item, it's escaped my mind right now, but it's an item that enhances critical hits as well. So I had a very good chance of getting critical hits, and that was basically my strategy. Just trying to land critical hits with this thing and overcome stat changes. So it definitely sort of stands out to me as a Pokemon that was in my first competitive team. And while I didn't do anything really with that competitive team, I did roll my friends a lot. Ho-Oh, just a really majestic Pokemon that is one of my favorites. It's I feel like I'm in a very small camp where I prefer Ho-Oh over Lugia. Lugia's got a lot of popularity because of the movie Pokemon 2000, I feel, and like Lugia is a really cool Pokemon, but it's also one of my favorite shiny Pokemon, Ho-Oh. So I really want that one day. I've actually got a shiny Lugia, believe it or not. In Alpha Sapphire, you had access to Lugia and not Ho-Oh, so I was able to shiny hunt Lugia. But I really want a Ho-Oh. I'm actually doing a quest in Pokemon Go at the moment, trying to unlock a Ho-Oh. So there might be that chance of getting the Ho-Oh. Once I've completed that in a couple of days, hopefully I'm all good to go. So we're moving into the Hoenn region now. We're through the first couple of generations, and number one is the starter Pokemon, and that is Mudkip. Mudkip was my first ever starter I've ever started with. So my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Sapphire, and I started with Mudkip, and Mudkip is a phenomenal Pokemon. So cute, it's strong. Its evolutions are awesome as well, evolving in the Swampert, and Swampert's typing is amazing, being a water ground type, being immune to electric types, being very weak to grass types. But you get some downsides to some pros, I guess. A Pokemon I talked a little bit about before was Blaziken. Blaziken is just oozes coolness. Honestly, it is awesome. Zigzagoon. Always had a Zigzagoon in my party for the ability to pick up, so I picked it up random items, and I always called it Ziggy. Ziggy the Zigzagoon. Really cool, really cute Pokemon. I love its Galarian form as well, being that normal dark type, really cool. Tropius, another cool Pokemon. Basically a fruit-bearing dinosaur that can fly. Like, it's not very good stat-wise, but just design-wise, it's cool, it's cute. It's a really cool Pokemon. I never really used it, but I did use it on my first playthrough, and I didn't do too much. I sort of just had it in the back, just as my flyer. But a great Pokemon design. Actually, I want to play through the Hoenn games again. I have a Tropius on there. I don't care if it's not that good. I just want to use it. Next up is Torkoal. Torkoal is just a really nice Pokemon. It's strong, it's slow, it's good defensively though, and even in the metagame in Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's absolutely kicking ass at the moment. Really nice Pokemon. Flygon, pretty obvious why. Another quote-unquote cool Pokemon. Really nice, out evolves from Trapinch, a little ground ant, evolves into Vibrava, then into Flygon. But it might be outshadowed a bit by, well, to most people, by Salamence. Salamence is also on here. Just, I reckon, the coolest dragon Pokemon. Up until now, there was only a Dragonite really as a main pseudo-legendary dragon Pokemon. And I think Salamence just kind of destroys Dragonite. Dragonite's fine, but Salamence is where it's at as far as those two go. Latios. Latios is one of my favorite Pokemon. Probably out of the honorable mentions, Latios is at the top, honestly. Just a tremendous Pokemon with a tremendous amount of heart. I feel like if you've watched Pokemon Heroes, the movie, those two Eon Pokemon are really, really special, and one of the most excited I've been for getting a shiny Pokemon. One of the hardest shiny hunts I've ever had as well in Pokemon Omega Ruby. No, it was Alpha Sapphire. It took me a long time. It took hundreds and hundreds of soft resets. When I finally got it, I was so ecstatic. But there's a big but here. If you're into natures, you'll know that you don't want your Latios with an adamant nature, because its special attack will be down, its attack will be up. That's the complete opposite to what you want. And I got it with an adamant nature. Luckily, I can move it into Pokemon Home now and use a mint in the new Pokemon games. But at the time, I was like, you got to be kidding. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I would have loved a competitive shiny Latios, but it was not to be, unfortunately. Moving into Generation 4, Torterra, really cool Pokemon. It was my first starter Pokemon in Generation 4. And I think it's definitely one of the coolest. Giratina, really cool Pokemon. Especially its origin form, where it's in the Distortion world. Excellent Pokemon. And that's the only Generation 4 Pokemon. In the honorable mentions anyway, there's some in my top 25. But moving on to Generation 5, Samurott, really cool. My first... it actually wasn't my first starter Pokemon. It was my second starter Pokemon in the Unova region. Okay, yeah. I started off with Snivy, but I honestly didn't really gel that much with them. Is the one that appealed to me at first, but than Oshawott. I remember Oshawott. The design of it at first, I was like, this thing looks so dumb. But it grew on me so much, and it's definitely my favorite out of the three, definitely. Zeb Striker, really cool. It's basically a take on, I guess, Rapidash from the first generation, but instead of a horse, it's a zebra, and it's electric type, but just a really excellent looking Pokemon. Very well designed. Unfortunately, its stats don't hold up as much, but what are you going to do? Next up, Galvantula, an electric bug Pokemon. The first electric bug Pokemon, I believe. And it's basically based off a tarantula, hence the name. But it's really cute. It's really cool looking. I'm glad that they didn't give it 8 eyes. It's got like the 2 main eyes, and it's got like 4 eyes on the front of it, so it doesn't look like a horrifying bug. But I always have one on my team. They're fantastic Pokemon, and like honestly, some of my favorite Pokemon ever since. So moving into Generation 5, there is what are we looking at here? Oh, I'm just looking at the picture here. I've completely forgotten its name. It's completely escaped my mind. Oh my god. In Generation 5, this is where my knowledge gets really bad, off by heart. When I was a kid, all of this knowledge I was just like an encyclopedia. But then it's just disappeared. Disappeared from my head. Ooh. Completely forgot it. It starts with a G. I'm going to have to look this up, everybody. I'm going to have to look it up. That's embarrassing. Live on air, got to look up this Pokemon because I completely forgot its name. It's in Super Smash Brothers, and I play it all the time. Just my brain has completely farted on me. Because I've got Giratina on the mind, because I was just talking about Giratina with a G. Just completely forgot it. Well, this is annoying. See, I never said I was such a knowledge base of Pokemon, you know. But this is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's where we are. So Pokemon X and Y. Because there was a point where I did not really enjoy the not really enjoy, but so what we got here? Oh, Greninja. Okay, that took a long time. That was just completely gone from my mind. I'm sorry for that waste of time there. But Greninja, and he's supposedly one of my favorite Pokemon in this game. He's an honorable mention, and I forgot its name. But what are you gonna do? So Greninja, I originally started off with Fennekin in the game, and Delphox. It's okay. It's like a witch fox, and it looks kind of silly. They could have done way more. I think Braixen, the middle evolution for that starter, was way cooler. If they sort of grew on that a bit more than just like a big fluffy fox, that would have been a bit cooler. But what are you going to do? But Greninja really grew on me, and I think it's not safe. It's safe to say that a lot of people love Greninja. It was voted one of the favorite, the most popular Pokemon. It beat Charizard. It beat Pikachu. It beat them all. Like, super crazy to even think about. But going on as well as Talonflame. Talonflame's one of the best sort of starter bird Pokemon. I've only got Talonflame and Pidgeot in this list, so I guess that speaks. They all sort of went downhill, to be honest, after Pidgeot. But Talonflame, and it is kind of like a similar design, really. Just having like a normal fire type is really, really neat, especially for the start of the game. Especially when the last few generations were actually lacking fire type Pokemon as well. Next up is a really cool Pokemon, Tyrantrum, one of the fossil Pokemon, a Pokemon actually based off a T-Rex. You had similar Pokemon being Tyranitar and stuff, but this was a true T-Rex based Pokemon, and it was a real glass cannon that went down pretty easy, but it was awesome, man. It was so cool. I absolutely loved going through X with this game. And going on to Generation 7, Decidueye, really cool. I actually did pick it as my first Pokemon, and really neat. It was kind of funny though, because Dartrix being the middle evolution, being a grass flying type, when it evolved and it became a grass ghost type, it sort of opened itself to a lot more weaknesses, and it was actually a bit harder to use, I found in my playthrough. But yeah, regardless, and I actually do love Generation 7. Not so much the games themselves, but the designs I think are really great. And I think I've got one in my top favorite Pokemon, but only one in my honorable mention. So we're on to Generation 8. And Generation 8, one of my honestly, one of my favorite generations. It's really great. The Pokemon designs are absolutely fantastic. And the first one is my starter Pokemon. It's Rillaboom. Rillaboom's cool. When sort of the rumors come out that Grookey was going to evolve into a drummer, I'm like, yes, that is so up my alley. I love grass types. In high school, I did a lot of drumming. I still consider myself a drummer, but I drum like very little. But percussion has always been a big part of my life and sort of how I guess, identify myself. So Rillaboom, I love it. Signature attack, actually jumping on the drums, and the Gigantamax form having like his own big drums, and it's really neat, man. Corviknight. Actually, there's another starter bird Pokemon, but it fits in really well just with the theme and everything, how it's actually based into the lore of the region, being the taxi Pokemon, taking people around. That flying steel type we've only seen with Skarmory, so really neat typing. As a sheep farmer, I'm actually surprised I've got this on there. Well, not really. I guess that's a reason to put it on there, but Wooloo's just a cute Pokemon. It's a fan favorite. Everyone loves him. Boltund, really, really cool Pokemon based on a hound, a dog. Not so good, sort of, I guess, stat-wise. I had one of my team for the first playthrough, and it was fine, but it didn't sort of hold its own as the rest of the team would. Torkoal, not Torkoal. Oh, I've forgotten your name too. You've escaped my mind. So every now and again, this happens, ladies and gentlemen. I put this list together a week or so ago, and I forget people's names. So I've got to look you up. Oh dear. Sword and Shield Pokedex. I want to say Torkoal, but you're not Torkoal. So the Galar Pokedex. Oh no, it's all of the Pokemon in this Pokedex. So I'm on Cerebi.net at the moment, looking through the Pokemon. Because when I get something stuck in my head, I can't get rid of it. I can't even find it on the Pokedex because there's so many Pokemon here. I'm gonna play a game at home. It's a last evolution of Roly-Coly. I can remember Roly-Coly. That's unique enough. Evolves into, all I can think of is Torkoal. Colossal. Sorry, Colossal. I forgot your name, mate. Evolves into Colossal. And there were the rumors that Roly-Coly was going to evolve into like a train. Colossal isn't a train. It's just like I guess like a Titan with coal on it that's burning the coal. It's a cool design. I still love it, but I do wish it was more based on a train. I reckon that would have been really cool if it sort of continued that sort of like wheel to a cart to a train. But I guess it's like a big cart. And second to last, but definitely not last. Or I don't know. Oh, I have it ranked these, but Dragapult. Dragapult, sorry. I've only had a year to learn these Pokemon's names, whatever. But Dragapult, just a really cool Pokemon, being based off of a fire ghost type, excellent typing. Just excellent how it's got like little Dreepy living in its head that work as missiles for its signature attack. Really nice. And the last one is the legendary of Pokemon Sword is Zacian. Sometimes last three Pokemon just completely forgot. But Zacian, I think it's awesome. When they first announced it, I fell in love with it then. I think some people sort of went, it's a dog holding a sword. That's weird. But just story-wise and design-wise, typing-wise, I think it's excellent. Excellent type Pokemon. One of my favorite legendaries in the entire series, honestly. So, awesome. So, there are my honorable mentions as we're 25 minutes in. So, let's jump into my top 25 favorite Pokemon throughout the whole Pokemon series. I guess I better just put out there, but this is of 2001, not 2001, 2021. So if I don't know, you're listening to this 5 years on from now, and you're like, oh man, you should have included the really cool Pokemon that I don't know about yet. Well, sorry about that. It doesn't exist yet. So I'm going to read basically the Pokedex entries, a little bit about the Pokemon, and why I guess it means a lot to me. Obviously, as we're getting closer and closer to my number one, I'm going to have a lot more sort of, I guess, passion behind it. So a few of these first ones are just because, I think I like them a lot. I like them more than, I guess, my honorable mentions, but we'll get on there. So let me have a swig of water. I've been talking for a little bit. Delicious. Wonderful water. Very nice stuff. So, number 25 on my top 5 favorite Pokemon is from Generation 8, a brand new Pokemon, and that's Applin. And Applin is the Apple Core Pokemon. And the Pokedex entry is it spends its entire life inside an apple. It hides from its natural enemies, bird Pokemon, pretending it's just an apple and nothing more. And this was a Pokemon that was included in the leaks for Pokemon Sword and Shield, like every Pokemon game leaks. And it was just seeing the 3D model from the front was just the apple. I was like, okay, that's weird, but that's fine. And actually seeing it in game when I ran into it for the first time and the camera sweeps around the back and you see that it's like this little dragon caterpillar that's just sort of snuck into this apple and poked its eyes out through the top of the core, and like that leaves are actually its eyes. I thought that was such a clever idea for a Pokemon. Just really cool, and its evolution's really cool, especially Flapple. How it just bursts out the apple and it sort of still gets around in the apple, but it can just fly around. I thought that was really cool. So, Applin, absolutely fantastic Pokemon. And number 24 on my list is the Generation 4 Pokemon Togekiss. And Togekiss is the Jubilee Pokemon. And its Pokemon Sword entry says, these Pokemon are never seen anywhere near conflict or turmoil. In recent times, they're hardly been seen at all. And for Pokemon Shield, known as the bringer of blessings, it has been depicted on good luck charms ever since ancient times. And this is the Pokemon I really like because in earlier games, Togetic was a favorite of mine. I think it was one of like the first Pokemon that evolved with love. I know a few of the other Johto baby Pokemon that were introduced did evolve with love as well, but Togepi was the main one that you got included, and I really did like Togetic. But Togekiss, I think, really made it a viable option. I love its design. I love that it's a cute Pokemon, but it's a powerhouse. It's cool, and introducing the fairy typing as well really did help it go a long ways. And even in the VGC at the moment, Togekiss is absolutely killing it. It's one of the most popular Pokemon, if not, especially in early days, the most popular Pokemon in the entire metagame. But I really do enjoy it for those reasons. Number 23 is Metagross. Metagross is one of the coolest pseudo-legends in the entire series. I think it's incredibly popular. And it's got an awesome shiny form, being in silver color with the gold cross across its head. And its classification is the Iron Leg Pokemon. And it's a Pokemon description from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Because of its magnetic power, these Pokemon get stronger in freezing temperatures. Metagross living in snowy mountains are full of energy. So that's sort of, I guess, coming from the fact that in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can find it in the Crown Tundra. This was a Pokemon that was introduced into the game through the DLC. So in Pokemon Shield, Metagross is the result of a fusion of two Metang. This Pokemon defeats its opponents through the use of supercomputer level brain. And that's one of these cool things too, because it's basically a big computer. So it's not like I guess an animal or anything like that. It is based on just fusing computers together, which was always really cool. And just Metagross is so confronting. If you ran into one of them in the wild in real life, you would be terrified. So it's just like an excellent Pokemon design that's really stood the test of time. And I love it. I didn't play with it so much in like the original games, but going back to Alpha Sapphire, really did enjoy it, especially since they gave you a shiny one at the very start with the release of those games. So that was always fun, having a shiny one. I believe this is my only pick from Generation 7, but this was a Pokemon that grew on me because of my use of it throughout the game. So Rabombi is my 22nd pick for my top five favorite Pokemon. I like saying fave. Oh my god, fave. So what do you classify as the bee fly Pokemon? That's fair enough because it basically, well, it's not a bee. It's like a little fairy, I guess. But the Pokedex description is from Pokemon Sword, and it makes pollen puffs from pollen and nectar. The puffs, the puffs effects depend on the type of ingredients and how much one is used. And from Shield, Rabombi absolutely hate getting wet or rained on. In the cloudy Galar region, they are very seldom seen, so you don't see them too much. But they do appear a lot in the wild area, Pokemon Sword and Shield. But I originally had one of these in the Pokemon Sun and Moon, and it went throughout the game. And having this tiny, tiny little bee Pokemon be so powerful. In Generation, it was one of like the first fairy Pokemon I really, really liked. Because, I don't know, there was a few in I guess X and Y, and they didn't really do too much for me. They kind of looked a bit weird. I thought it was really cool. They introduced a new type, but the design-wise didn't do too much for me. I liked a lot of the fairy type that was sort of retyped, I guess, like Clefairy and Jigglypuff and all of that. But like Surpuff and stuff, it's like, whew, not so much my favorite. Didn't make my hated Pokemon list or anything like that, but Rabombi was one of my favorites, and it was an absolute powerhouse. It was so strong. So definitely one of my favorite Pokemon. It grew on me so much throughout those games, and I definitely do appreciate it. Number 21. This might be a bit of a weird pick for some of you guys out there. And this was actually, it came up on Twitter saying, I remember when like the National Dex stuff was happening. This was, I saw a post and someone's basically saying, look, this Pokemon isn't included, so like no one cares about this. I was like, I care about it. And that Pokemon is from Generation 3, and it's a very forgotten Pokemon, and that is Chimecho. And when I was a kid, I always used to think it was called Chimecho because I just read it wrong. Because I guess it could be Chimecho because it's literally spelt like chime and cho, like. But I sort of split that up wrong. It's like chime without the e, but then it's echo, Chimecho. I could have been right. You know, Pokemon names. You know, you read them how you read them, especially when you're kids and all that. I was thinking when I was talking about Togetic, I heard people call it Togetic. I'm like, I don't know if I'm wrong. I honestly don't know if I'm wrong. If you're in the comments, either on YouTube or just on the podcast, just @Drew on Twitter. Am I wrong with Togetic or Togetic? I think it's Togetic. I always called it Togetic, but I don't know. I don't care what you call it. You can call it whatever you like. I can call it what I like. But I think Chimecho was the first Pokemon where I really butchered the name and I sort of learnt later on in life. But this Pokemon really has a special place in my heart because on Mount Pyre in a Pokemon Sapphire, it's quite rare. You can find it at the very top, and I can't remember the percentage, but it's like 5%, might even be 1%. I don't know. But I was looking for hours for this thing. And the only reason I was looking for it, I wasn't looking to complete the Pokedex or anything like that, but I just really wanted one because it was cute. And I think it's just a really cool design, just having like a wind chime Pokemon as a psychic type. It's got levitate. It's really quite neat. So yeah, its classification is literally the wind chime Pokemon, and it's a Pokedex. Oh yeah, because that's the thing is, yeah, like I said, it's not in Pokemon Sword and Shield, so I actually don't have a Pokedex description here. So what about if I go back on that one, and I'll try and find the Pokedex entry because it is a bit of a weird Pokemon. We'll go to Generation 3 where the whole thing started, where it originated from. I'm just looking at the sprite from Generation 3. Man, it's nostalgic. So from Pokemon Ruby version, Chimecho makes its cries echo inside its hollow body. When this Pokemon becomes enraged, it cries resulting in ultrasonic waves that have the power to knock foes flying. So very strong Pokemon. And in Pokemon Sapphire, in the high winds, Chimecho cries as it hangs from a tree branch and enraves of a building using its suction cup on its head. This Pokemon plucks berries using its long tails and eats them. And I might as well read Pokemon Emerald as well, just see if we get a bit more information. They fly about very actively when the hot season arrives. They communicate among themselves using 7 different distinguishing cries. So there you go. Yeah, I always love Chimecho, and I think it's one of those ones that I bring up usually, and people are like, really? Because it's such a forgettable Pokemon, and I think honestly, out of sort of the rest of my list, it is definitely like probably the least suspected. But Chimecho, man, top tier Pokemon. So moving on is Floatzel. Floatzel was introduced in Generation 7, not 7, sorry, 4. I meant to say 4, but I said 7 for whatever reason. And ever since I knew I was going to have this Pokemon on my team before I even bought Pokemon Pearl. Just a really, really nice Pokemon based off an otter. So its classification is the Sea Weasel Pokemon. I guess it's more of a weasel than an otter. Also not in Sword and Shield, so we've got to go back. And we will click on Diamond and Pearl Generation 4, so we get some of the original information here. So from Pokemon Diamond version, it floats using its well-developed flotation sac. It assists in resources of drowning. Oh, it assists in rescues of drowning people. Jesus, I thought it just meant it drowned people. Pearl. Its flotation sac developed as a result of pursuing aquatic prey. It can double as a rubber raft. So a really cool Pokemon. I really do like it. In not Blitzel, sorry. I know its name. Bruce. I can't pronounce it. Jesus. Sometimes I get this way where I just can't pronounce things. And it's always on a podcast. It's I'm not usually just talking to myself, and I can't pronounce things. But Buzel. I think it's just Buzel. Sorry, I just completely butchered that. I can't get it out of my mouth when I just... some words just don't come out when I'm just talking for almost 40 minutes. But yeah, a fantastic Pokemon. One of my favorites from Generation 4. Definitely when Generation 4 remakes come around, I'll be having this on my team. 100%. Especially since it's not in Sword and Shield at the moment. It'll be a great opportunity to use it again. Next one on my list is Skarmory. Skarmory, what a sick Pokemon. Just being a steel flying type. Really nice shiny, being that green color with like dark green wings. Looks really, really nice. It's the Armor Bird Pokemon. And its Pokedex description from Pokemon Sword and Shield is the pointed feathers on these Pokemon are sharper than swords. Skarmory and Corviknight fly vigorously over territory. So that's from the Crown Tundra sort of expansion, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Finally got introduced to that game, so it's it's pretty nice. So a really cool Pokemon. It's a Pokemon that I still want as a shiny. I would actually love one in my collection. Every now and again when it pops up in Pokemon Go, click on it straight away, just to be disappointed that it's not shiny. But I really did love sort of trying to find this Pokemon in Pokemon Sapphire. It was pretty rare in, I can't remember the exact route, but it was on the route where you collect the soot for your soot bag in the Hoenn region. And, it's pretty rare. It wasn't like super rare. It wasn't a Chimecho rare or anything like that, but really, really nice Pokemon. Next up is... And this has actually surprised me when I put together my list. But Empoleon from Generation 4. So I always loved Torterra. Torterra, I would have said that Torterra was my favorite starter from that generation. But going on over the years and playing through with Empoleon, the Pokemon grew on me a lot. And especially in recent years... playing Pokemon Go, I have an absolutely amazing Empoleon. I've got multiple shinies through the community day they did a couple of years ago. And it's grown on me through using it in Pokemon Go, to be honest, which is quite surprising. I never knew Pokemon Go would sort of create a new favorite Pokemon for myself. But Empoleon, a really, really cool typing as well. It is sort of weird whenever I'm using it and I get hit by a fire type and it does like a decent amount of damage because it's a steel type as well as the water type. Always throws me off a little bit. But this Pokemon is the Emperor Pokemon. And once again, not in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Whoops. I went through all of these, just went to the Sword and Shield Pokedexes, but maybe I shouldn't have done that. That's okay though. It's okay. So fourth generation Pokemon Pokedex. So from Pokemon Diamond, the three horns that extend from its beak attest to its power. The leader has the biggest horns. In Pokemon Pearl, it swims as fast as a jet boat. The edges of its wings are sharp and can slice apart drifting ice. In Pokemon Platinum, if anyone were to hurt its pride, it would slash them with wings that can cleave through an ice foe. So, just thinking about that's like just like slicing through it. So that sounds like fun. But yeah, I reckon when the Diamond and Pearl remakes come around, probably at the end of this year, pretty obvious, I'll be choosing Piplup, definitely. Really cool Pokemon. So moving on to one of the first legendary Pokemon on my list is Groudon. Ruby and Sapphire were my first set of Pokemon games, so these legendaries have a very high amount of, I guess, nostalgia for them. Even just seeing them on the box art. The box art alone, I have nostalgia for them. But I absolutely love the sort of aesthetic of them. And I guess just to wrap them into the similar conversation, the next Pokemon for me is Kyogre. And I absolutely love the sort of feud between them both. Up until this point, we haven't really had a feud between, I guess, Pokemon. We had like Mew and Mewtwo, but that was really in the movie. That wasn't in the game at all. And Lugia, Ho-Oh, they don't really have anything to do with each other. They're just existing in the same region. But these two had like real beef with each other. And that was put throughout the whole story, whether it's through Team Aqua, Team Magma, like literally different ends of the spectrum being land and sea, and how these elements sort of played into the region as a whole. But it's a region based on nature. And nature, a small change can really throw everything out. If you expand the sea, everything on the land's going to die. And if you make everything land, there's obvious problems with having no water as well. So absolutely cool Pokemon. Love them so much. And in Pokemon Go recently, I got 2 shiny Kyogre, which made my day. Finally got a shiny Kyogre. No shiny Groudon. The hunt continues. But talking about these Pokemon, so Groudon is the continent Pokemon. And man, I've got to go back here too. Now that all these Pokemon are a bit older, they don't really have Pokedex entries. I thought Groudon and Kyogre are in the recent games, but they don't have Pokedex entries because they're not technically in the Pokedex, but you can use them. So the continent Pokemon. So in Ruby, it says Groudon has been long described as a mythologically as Pokemon that raised lands and expanded continents. This Pokemon took to sleep after a cataclysmic battle with Kyogre. And in Pokemon Sapphire, it goes into a bit more detail. Groudon has the power to scatter rain clouds and make water evaporate with light and heat. It came as a savior to the people who have been suffering from terrible floods. And with Kyogre here, it's the Sea Brazen Pokemon. And I guess honestly, I didn't know what order to put these two in. And I'm honestly just, I like them pretty equally, but I'm putting Kyogre just that little bit more because Kyogre, I guess, was the mascot of the first Pokemon game I really got into. And it's the first legendary encounter I ever had in the whole series, which will always have something special to me when I run into it with the theme of the legendary music in Hoenn. It was really quite special. So in Pokemon Ruby version, Kyogre has the power to create massive rain clouds that cover the entire sky and bring about torrential downpours. This Pokemon saved people who were suffering from droughts. And in Pokemon Sapphire, Kyogre is named mythologically as Pokemon that expanded the sea by covering the land with torrential rains and towering tidal waves. It took to sleep after a cataclysmic battle with Groudon. And I remember these Pokedex entries being interesting too. I remember comparing them with friends who had Pokemon Ruby, and it was funny that they're like literally the same but just complete opposites. And even when you got the Pokedex entry on the opposing game, how it goes into a bit more detail as well, I quite liked that. And even that was pretty much the same when you traded your legendary too. So really, really nice. I I love those two Pokemon. I love the whole conflict, the whole story around them. I think it's probably the one of the honestly best legendary stories in the whole series. And there's been some great ones since, so that's not saying it lightly. All right, so we're going to Generation 7 with so Rabombi wasn't my only Generation 7. I missed this one. So Mimikyu. Mimikyu, one of my favorite Pokemon. I think it's I love the whole story behind it. How it's jealous of Pikachu, Pikachu's popularity, and it's got to wear a disguise to sort of not terrorize people and not turn it off of them. So naturally, this is the disguise Pokemon. And in Pokemon Sword, it says that it wears a rag fashioned into a Pikachu costume in an effort to look less scary. However, the costume only makes it creepier. Don't know about that. If you looked underneath Mimikyu, I think it would be scarier than what it looks like. It probably could have chosen a lot more appealing face though. It still looks pretty scary. All right, there was Pokemon Shield. There was a scientist who peeked under Mimikyu's old rag in the name of research. The scientist died of mysterious disease. That's it. I love ghost type entries. They're so fun. We're going to get to another couple of quite horrifying Pokedex entries coming on. But Mimikyu, I think it's just fantastic. I love its whole backstory. I love it so much. I think that really adds to the character of this Pokemon. And typically, whenever I catch one, I've got a shiny one currently in Pokemon Sword, and I nickname them Mimic Drew, because why not? I've got a name, Drew, which is just one syllable. I can fit it into whatever I want. So I usually call my Pikachu Pikadrew, my Mimikyu Mimidrew. Any other name where I can easily fit it in, I will. I'll make a whole party called something Drew or Drew something. So you got Torko, you got Tor Drew. That doesn't work as well. I wouldn't do that, but you know what I mean. Pretty lame, but it is what it is. All right, so we're going back to Generation 1, and I'm a bit of a Gen 1er here. We're back to Generation 1, and that's Arcanine. And this is another Pokemon which means a lot to me, just based off of a dog or a canine, as you will. I hear some people call it Arcanine, and I never heard that, but when I heard that, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense, and it could be spelt that way. So I don't know. If you call it Arcanine, that's fair enough, but I've always called it Arcanine, so I don't know what the correct way to say it. I think in the anime, I never heard him say Arcanine, but what are you going to do? Call it what you want. So it's classified as the legendary Pokemon, and this was a weird thing in the anime, how I guess Arcanine was right next to the legendary birds, and it was like a legendary Pokemon. But sort of how they classify legendary Pokemon these days, it wasn't so much in Generation 1. You didn't have like legendary Pokemon, but now there's like, it feels like 50 there's way more than 50. There's like 60 or 70 legendary Pokemon. I'm not sure the name, but yeah, this classification seems a bit weird with the hindsight now, but especially with Growlithe, they pop up everywhere and you just use a Firestone and it becomes pretty easy. But this Pokemon from the entry on Pokemon Sword, the sight of it running over 6,200 miles in a single day and night has captivated many people. And Shield, a Pokemon that has been admired for its beauty. It runs, agility as if it's on its own wings. So very fast Pokemon, very cool. It's got extreme speed, which is a lot of fun to use in the mainline games. And usually when I go through the Kanto games, I always need to catch myself a Growlithe. In Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, my first attempt at shiny hunting in that game, the brand new method, doing the sort of the chains for catching Pokemon. Growlithe was the first shiny Pokemon I got in that game. And it was really exciting and really cool being able to go through that game with a shiny Arcanine, especially that you could ride it in the game. That was really, really neat. So yeah, just like one of my favorite Generation 1 Pokemon, based off a dog. Dog's one of my favorite animals, so really cool. Going back to the Hoenn region, this is an excellent Pokemon. So Rayquaza. Rayquaza is a awesome Pokemon, and being able to sort of is one of my first experiences really not hunting down, but sort of like figuring out how to get to the next legendary Pokemon. Being like Kyogre it was like, oh yeah, it's a part of the story. You get there, it's exciting as a kid. You got like the epic music and that going on, but learning about Rayquaza and learning the puzzle, going up the sky pillar and getting there, and being a Pokemon that was really hard to catch. And when I finally caught it after what felt like hundreds of Ultra Balls, was really, really cool to finally get. So this is the Sky High Pokemon. And in Pokemon Ruby, Rayquaza lived for hundreds of millions of years in the Earth's ozone layer. When descending to the ground, this Pokemon appears to feed on water and particles in the atmosphere. And in Pokemon Sapphire, Rayquaza is said to have hundreds of millions of years in the Earth's ozone layer above the clouds. Its existence had been completely unknown because it lived so high in the sky. And Rayquaza, it's always been known to me that like it's one of the coolest shinies. I really want a shiny Pokemon, shiny Rayquaza in the games. That would be really, really neat. So yeah, man. Moving back to Generation 4. We've actually got a fair few Generation 4 Pokemon on this, which is nice to see. Drifblim. Drifblim is one of those Pokemon as well as Floatzel. I'm like, I definitely want one of these in my team. Just aesthetically, I don't know why it appealed so much to me. It's just like this weird looking sort of blimp Pokemon with like an X as a mouth and two just dots as eyes. Don't know exactly where the appeal come from, but it's classified as the blimp Pokemon. And from Pokemon Sword, some say this Pokemon is a collection of souls burdened with regret, silently drifting through the dusk. And Pokemon Shield, it grabs people and Pokemon and carries them off somewhere. Where do they go? Nobody knows. And this was one of the first Pokemon I had sort of, I was exposed to just like really wacky Pokedex entries. So I'm going to read some from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl as well, because I remember there being some real doozies in this game. So from Pokemon Diamond, it's drowsy in daytime, but flies off in the evening in big groups. No one knows where they go. Okay? And then Pokemon Pearl, it carries people and Pokemon when it flies, but since it only drifts, it can end up anywhere. And Pokemon Platinum, it drifts at dusk, swarms of them carried aloft on winds. When they notice, they suddenly vanish. And I think like they aren't too bad actually, but I'm going to read some of its previous evolution, being a Drifloon. So I remember reading Drifloons and it was just like, oh my god. So Drifloon, from Pokemon Diamond, a Pokemon formed by spirits of the people and Pokemon. It loves damp, humid seasons. Pokemon Pearl, it tugs on the hands of children to steal them away. However, it gets pulled to the ground instead. So it doesn't actually do anything to the kids, but it has the intention to actually like take them to the sky, which is absolutely terrifying. All right, so I think we're into, what are we up to now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so we're up to number 11, and this is a random one. And this was hard to sort of decide between its evolutions, but I decided on the first stage evolution because of its sort of significance to me. So number 11 is Caterpie. And like, you might be like, Caterpie, like really like that little bug Pokemon. But I think it's really well designed. I think it's sort of interaction in the Pokemon anime, being Ash's first Pokemon, and how it interacts with Pikachu, with how they become friends, and its evolution and how it grows up. I think it's really sweet just from that perspective. But even from my own perspective, I got a Pokemon show bag when I was a real little kid. Before I even started playing the games, I would have been like 5 or 6 or something. And in that show bag, there was actually a little Caterpie plush that came with it. Actually, where is that? I think I've actually got it. I've actually still got it somewhere. I won't go and get it now. But that plush, I used to take it to school every day, and some of my other friends had similar plushes. I think a friend of mine had a Ghastly. There was Ghastly. There was Ivysaur, I believe. Like there was some pretty cool Pokemon, but I ended up with a Caterpie, and I just loved it so much. I brought it to school. It was like my second best friend or whatever, which I used to carry around with me. And like I picked it up the other day, and it just like all came flooding back to me, the memories I had with Caterpie. And then Caterpie was my number 1 favorite Pokemon. which is hilarious. Like when you're a kid, I sort of went from Pikachu to Caterpie to, I don't know, Charizard, whatever, like every week probably. But there was a stage where Caterpie was my favorite Pokemon, and I still love it. And this is the bit I don't get, right. So it's classified as the worm Pokemon. I always thought Weedle was classified as the worm Pokemon because it's a worm. Like Caterpie is based off a caterpillar, like it evolves into a butterfly. So, but it's classified as the worm Pokemon. So, I'm not designing or writing Pokemon dialogue or anything like that. So, what are you going to do? But in Pokemon Sword, it says for protection, it releases a horrible stench from the antenna on its head to drive away enemies. In Pokemon Shield, it says that its short feet are tipped with suction pads that enable it to tirelessly climb slopes and walls. So, yeah, it's a caterpillar. That's kind of described a caterpillar. Because worms, I don't know, worms don't have little legs. Caterpillars do. No, there's a few Generation 1 classifications where I'm like, I don't know. Can you retcon that? Can you go back and change it? I don't know. But yeah, I got a lot of nostalgia for Caterpie. I know it's a funny one. I was thinking like, should I say, like, I didn't know whether I should put in my list Butterfree. Love Butterfree. But I had a rule for this list that I would only include one evolution for each line. So I can't just like put Caterpie, Metapod, and Butterfree in the same list. I think maybe a lot of you can relate with Caterpie. If I said Metapod was one of my favorite Pokemon, my 11th favorite Pokemon, maybe then you'll be like, that's weird. Like it was a pretty funny episode when Ash is versing that trainer and they're just doing Harden. That's a pretty funny meme. But I prefer Caterpie. I a lot. So keeping with the bug theme, I forgot where I'm up to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yes, number 10. So this is where things get serious, everybody. So at number 10, being a bug Pokemon from the Johto region, is Heracross. Always loved Heracross. When I was a kid, I didn't have a plush or a toy or anything like that, but I just loved its design. It's a big horn. It's a bug type that is strong, that is powerful. Its signature move that is gone on to other Pokemon at this stage, but Mega Horn is really cool. And the first game that I really, really got into using it was Pokemon Heart Gold. And in Pokemon Heart Gold, I was able to... I think back so fondly of my team from Heart Gold, and a lot of these Pokemon are actually on the list. But Heracross was an absolute powerhouse, being that fighting type as well. Really brought that bug sort of synergy really well. And in Generation 4 as well, having that special and physical split between the moves really helped that Pokemon too. But its classification is the single horn Pokemon. In a Pokemon Sword, Heracross loves sweet sap and will go looking through the forest for it. The Pokemon uses its 2 antennae to pick up scents as it searches. In a Pokemon Shield, this Pokemon takes pride in its strength, which allows it to lift things 100 times heavier than itself with no trouble at all. So it's kind of like an ant, really, and that's what ants in real life can do. They can pick up real heavy things that are a lot bigger than itself, and it's pretty neat. It is weird how sort of the female version of Heracross have like the heart horn, and it's always a weird sort of thing that Pokemon's like, all right, it's a female version has like a love heart feature, whether it's Pikachu with a love heart tail or whatever. It's like that's a bit weird, but it's still fun. Like you'd think like in the wild, Heracross not having that sharp horn would be a pretty big detriment, but I still wouldn't like to be hit by one, that's for sure. Not at all. So moving into my favorite Generation 3 starter, and it's the only Generation 3 starter that was missing from my honorable mentions. So if you can remember, like 40 minutes ago, we're up to an hour. I hope this is okay for you guys. But my favorite Generation 3 starter is Sceptile. Sceptile, really cool design, how it's got blades on its wrist. It's a really neat Pokemon. And I remember playing Pokemon at school. And when I say playing Pokemon at school, I don't mean bringing the trading cards. I don't mean bringing my Game Boy. When I say playing Pokemon at school, I mean with my friends, all playing the roles of different Pokemon and having like a pretend Pokemon battle together. And it's pretty cringy now, but here I am admitting this an hour in, so, a lot of people might not hear it, so it's okay. But I would like go like this to my friends. I'll like pretend that I've got these like leaf blades coming out of my arms, and I'll like pretend to do a slash with the leaf blades. And I and like a few years later, my friends actually like told me that they thought it was so cringe. Even at 10 years old, they're like, man, that's so cringy. But in saying that, the stuff they were doing too, like, they're like, I'm Squirtle, here's water gun. Like, it's all real cringy. But I loved playing a Skeptile. I could just imagine it like jumping about and using Leaf Blade and being a really cool Pokemon. And it's sort of through like a Pokemon tournament years later where I could actually finally utilize that, like, I guess, really neat fighting ability with like the blades on its wrists and stuff. And in the anime, when it's like its blades like lit up on its arm, I thought that was the coolest thing ever, man. It was so cool. So while Trico wasn't my first starter in Generation 3, Trico grew on me very quickly, and Skeptile, one of my favorite Pokemon. So moving on to another starter Pokemon. This one's pretty trite at this point. It's a very, very popular Pokemon, and that's Charizard. But what am I going to do without Charizard? Like, my first starter in the Generation 1 games. It's popular for a reason. It's a really, really fantastic Pokemon. And actually, I never read anything about Skeptile, did I? It's the forest Pokemon. Anyway, yeah, I better read out Skeptile. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Absolutely love, man. Skeptile, Generation 3. Man, getting mixed up here. Sorry, everyone. So in Pokemon Ruby, Skeptile, the leaves growing on Skeptile's body are very sharp-edged. This Pokemon is very agile. It leaps all over the branches and trees and jumps on its foe from above or behind. In Pokemon Sapphire, Skeptile has seeds growing on its back. These are said to be bursting with nutrients as it revitalizes trees. This Pokemon raises in the trees in a forest with loving care. So, yeah. Man, I love Skeptile. Awesome stuff. And yeah, moving on to Charizard, I think like it played a massive role in the Pokemon anime, massive role in the video games. It's one of the most popular Pokemon. It is a little bit unfortunate going on generations that it gets a bit too much love in X and Y, 2 Mega Evolutions. Going on, it's a Gigantamax form. The champion uses one. Like, it's a bit too much. I can see why people are like, come on, man. But it's one of the most, I guess, strongly designed original Pokemon. And that's even reflected in the price for, like, Pokemon trading cards. How if you pull a Charizard, it's going to be popular. People are going to want it. It's going to go up in value. So just an excellent Pokemon all around. So Charizard is the flame Pokemon. And from Pokemon Sword, it spits up fire that is hot enough to melt boulders. It can cause forest fires by blowing flames. I guess it could. I guess any fire Pokemon could create a forest fire. Someone chucks out their cigarette into some like dry grass and it can create a forest fire. I'm pretty sure a Charizard with a fire tail could do that. But, you learn something every day for the Pokedex. And Pokemon Sword, its wings can carry this Pokemon close to altitude of 4,600 feet. It blows out fire at very high temperatures. Yes, it can. It can melt boulders. So there you go. All right, moving on to my other one of my other favorite Pokemon. It's also from Generation 1. I think this one's pretty popular as well, but this is Lapras. And Lapras is the transport Pokemon. And it is a Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I was very happy about that. It got a Gigantamax form, which looks pretty cool. Basically has its Perish song going around its shell, and its shell is like a musical instrument. It's kind of, I wouldn't have said that for like an idea for Lapras, but it's pretty cool nevertheless. So a smart and kind-hearted Pokemon. It glides across the surface of the sea while its beautiful song echoes around it. And Pokemon's Shield, crossing icy seas is no issue for this cold-resistant Pokemon. Its smooth skin is a little cool to the touch. And this was a Pokemon that I just fell in love with at an early age, mainly through the Pokemon anime in the Orange Islands. I think it was it's sort of like it's just a really sweet Pokemon. It's kind like in the Pokedex entrance, it literally says it, but it's a kind-hearted Pokemon. It's just don't know, really nice. And I've always used it whether I'm playing through Generation 1 games, whether I get it through the Sylph Code during the Team Rocket invasion, get given it by the scientist, or even just catching it in that random cave in Gold and Silver. Just a really great Pokemon. So talking about Gold and Silver, my what's this? Number 6 favorite Pokemon is a Tyranitar. And Tyranitar is my favorite pseudo-legendary Pokemon. I think it's awesome. And it's like the first pseudo-legendary if it wasn't a dragon. And I feel like apart from Metagross, there aren't many pseudo-legendaries that aren't based on dragons. But this Pokemon is the Armor Pokemon, and it's from Pokemon Sword. Its body can't be harmed by any sort of attack. It is very eager to make challenges amongst enemies. So it's always looking for like competitors and opponents. It's a very powerful, very strong Pokemon. In a Pokemon Shield, the quakes caused when it walks make even great mountains crumble and change the surrounding terrain. So just a menacing Pokemon all round. But when I played through Pokemon Heart Gold, I remember this being one of the most brutal nature searches I've ever had. It was brutal. I was looking for, like, when I first played through Pokemon Heart Gold, I made sure that all my Pokemon were competitive ready. So I made sure they had the right natures, like, pretty good IVs. And I just wanted an adamant Larvitar. That's all I wanted. I wasn't going for a shiny or whatever, but it took me like 4 boxes of these things just to get an adamant one. And like compared to these days when I'm shiny hunting and I'm doing like 1,000 eggs, it was nothing like that. But man, it took forever. I just wanted one of 16 natures. It was ridiculous. But when I finally got it, I've never had a payoff so impressive. That was my Tyranitar. I'm like, with its enhanced attack, it was very powerful, and it was one of the first Pokemon I actually EV trained, just grinding on Goldeen next to Cerulean Cave, and man, it was strong. And I just went through. I was versing Bryce, and I just remember beating his Dragonite, which he was pretty proud of, and it made me feel so good. It outsped his Dragonite, and that just made me so happy. So it will always have a really great memory in my heart, and definitely one of my favorite Pokemon. Whenever I have a chance, I have it on my team. It's one of my first shiny Pokemon that I got in Pokemon Sword. Even though its shiny isn't amazing, it's got a purple belly, and apart from that, it's just like a bit of a different green color, but very much similar. So really cool Pokemon. All right, so we're into the 5 top favorite Pokemon. And these Pokemon, I had them in like the top 5, and the other ones were relatively simple to order. I'm like, yeah, put them here and there. But my top 5, I was actually surprised at the outcome. I'm like, And I'm pretty happy with it. So at number 5 is a Pokemon from Generation 5, and it is Chandelure. And Chandelure, I guess, it's kind of similar in design to Drifblim. It's a Ghost Fire type. It's based off a Chandelier, and it's honestly one of those Pokemon a lot of people like. A Pokemon based off a Chandelier, that's just ridiculous, but don't know. Is it really? It's Pokemon, ladies and gentlemen. Like, what are you going to do? You literally had a Pokemon based off a blimp like 4 years before this, so don't know. But anyway, Chandelure is the luring Pokemon. And the Pokedex entries for this is quite entertaining as well. So this Pokemon haunts... this Pokemon haunts mansions. It sways its arms to hypnotize opponents with the ominous dancing of its flames. In a Pokemon Shield, in homes illuminated by Chandelure instead of lights, funerals were contrast. Sorry, completely. So, someone's doing in the room next to me. So its funerals were a contrast, or so it said. So I'm going to go to Generation 5, see what it had to say in there, because it's another one of those ghost type Pokemon that had like a really mucked up Pokedex entry in the original games, which made me go, Especially Litwick. I feel maybe it was Litwick. Like the sort of like cute Pokemon at the very start seem to have like really haunting Pokedex entries. So in Pokemon Black, it absorbs a spirit, which then it burns by waving the flames on its arms. It puts its foes into a hypnotic trance. Pokemon White, being consumed in Chandelia's flames, burns up the spirit, leaving the body behind. So it can literally burn your soul out of your body. So that's always horrifying. I'm going to read Litwick's as well, see what it has to say about Litwick, because I remember it being pretty scary. So Pokemon Black, Litwick shines a light that absorbs the life energy from the people and Pokemon, which becomes the fuel that it burns. Pokemon White, while shining a light and pretending to be a guide, it leeches off the life force of anyone who follow it. So it's a Litwick being a candle Pokemon. If people use it as a light source, it basically just drains your life source, which is something. So that's relatively horrifying, but I played through the Generation 5 games multiple times, whether it's Black and White or Black and White 2. And every single playthrough I had a Chandelure. Always had a Chandelure, and it's got amazing special attack that is just horrifying. Horrifying. And I finally got a shiny one in Pokemon Sword, which took me a lot of eggs. And that was one of the shiny Pokemon hunts, but it actually kind of broke me at the very end. I finally got it after 1,000 or so eggs, and I sat down, and it finally popped up on my TV, and I sort of just went, finally, it's there. There was no fanfare. I'm like, there it is. Thank God. So it almost broke me, to be honest. All right, so we're getting into the fourth one. I'm going to have a bit of a drink. I've been talking for a long time. I thought this might be a bit of a shorter episode, but man, I'm just talking and talking. Sorry about that, everyone. Okay, so number 4 is something that is even more trite than Charizard. I'm sorry. This might not be a very exciting Pokemon, but this is Pikachu. And Pikachu has... Pikachu was the first Pokemon I guess I ever fell in love with, as many kids did, seeing them in the anime and every sort of bit of merchandise. Pikachu was right on front. I think it's the perfect sort of combination of cuteness, coolness, power, and I definitely see why it is the mascot of the Pokemon series. And most of my love for it comes from I guess the anime and seeing it in there. And there was a bit, when I'm I guess early teenager, where I'm like, Pikachu sucks, so popular, whatever, but come around on it at the end, so you get over that stage and absolutely love Pikachu. I think it's a fantastic Pokemon, and the ability to be able to use it pretty well as well with a light ball. I did a run through Pokemon Y version. I finished Pokemon X. I'm like, all right, there's not a lot to do at the end of the game. Didn't have much to do, so I jumped into the second version. I usually buy both versions because I'm a big sucker. So I bought both, and I started a version up with just a Pichu. So I'm going to play through the whole game as a challenge, just with a Pikachu. But I made this a very special Pikachu, so I didn't get stuck. So I gave it a light ball, naturally, double its attack and special attack. And I gave it hidden power ice. So if I come up against like a ground type, a rock type, anything that I'm in trouble with, it had hidden power ice. So it got out of a lot of sticky situations. And as I said before, I called it Picadrew. So me and Picadrew are good pals in Pokemon Y. And I had some really great memories going through that game with that Pokemon, especially since it was it wasn't that hard, but it was a bit challenging. There was a few sticky situations there. So it comes to no surprise that Pikachu is the mouse Pokemon, and in Pokemon Sword, oh my god, it's got a lot of Pokedex entries because of all the different hats you can put on it in the game. But in Pokemon Sword, Pikachu that can generate powerful electricity, have cheek sacs, but extra soft and super stretchy. So if you want to know you have a good Pikachu, you just go up to its cheek and you grab it and you sort of stretch it around and see what it does. In the Pokemon's Shield, when Pikachu meet, they touch their tails together and exchange electricity through them as a form of greeting. So it's kind of like a dog, but instead of smelling each other's bottoms, they spark each other's tails. So that's a bit cute, isn't it? But yeah, a lot of great memories with Pikachu, mainly for the anime, but even in the games themselves, I've got some very special Pikachu companions, which I really enjoyed. All right, number 4 is Lantern. Lantern is the light Pokemon. It's a I don't know what sort of deep water fish it's based off, but it's got the light on its head. And I don't think Lantern's all that popular Pokemon, but it's from Generation 2. It's definitely one of my favorites. And this was the Pokemon that I remember fondly because in Pokemon Emerald version, this is my first ever level 100 Pokemon that I ever got. And level 100s aren't what they are now. You don't just use candy, get them straight to level 100 in 2 minutes. Level 100 was a massive grind in the early generations. So finally getting this to level 100 was a big achievement for me. And its typing really stood out to me. Being water electric and having the ability Volt Absorb, or it can have the ability Water Absorb as well, but especially Volt Absorb, I think that is a really great ability. Not that electric types would do a lot to it being an electric type as well, but there are some people out there that just see it and they see it as a water type and they just use electric type just for the, they think it's super effective, but they have Volt Absorb there, so it just generates HP for me. And a real funny moment when I was doing some competitive battling in Pokemon Sword, I bred a pretty good Lantern and got the shiny form. So I was doing some battles with it, and someone actually used an electric attack on me. Volt Absorb kicked in, and then the person on the other end just rage quit straight away. It was the funniest thing. It's just like, I'm like, haha, suck. It's like, especially I think it was like Rotom. So it might not have had any other attacks. It really could have done much to me. So they just rage quit. I thought it was so funny. I had it like recorded on my Switch and everything, so it was really great. But I remember going through the battle frontier with this Lantern, really doing wonders for me in the battle frontier. So got a lot of great memories with Lantern. I think it's just a really cute looking Pokemon. A really great Pokemon. So the Pokedex entries in Pokemon Sword. The light that emits is so bright that it can illuminate the sea's surface from the depths over 3 miles. In Pokemon Shield, this Pokemon flashes a bright light that blinds its prey. It creates an opening for it to deliver an electrical attack. So awesome stuff. All right, so number 2. Now, number 2 was really hard to sort of swap between number 1. I'm not 100% sure where I come across it, but I do believe this is my second favorite Pokemon ever. And it was also hard to sort of choose its evolution as well, because I honestly like all of their evolutions kind of the same, but probably the last evolution is the one that really sticks with me. So from Generation 4 is Porygon Z. I think Porygon Z is another Pokemon that isn't that popular, but it stands out to me because all the way back in Generation 1 and Generation 3 with Fire Leaf Green, Porygon was a Pokemon I had to really try for. It's only available through the game corner in a Kanto, and that requires a lot of grinding, trainers for money to exchange for coins to eventually get a Porygon. And honestly, it took ages, especially in Fire Red, because it was just so much more expensive. It was like max coins for a Porygon. And there was a lot of battles versing people the same, using the amulet coin to grind. I can't remember how long it took. It felt like a week though. It felt like a week of just grinding to get a Porygon, which any other Pokemon in the game would have been easy. You could have finished the game and got to Mewtwo before you got enough money to get Porygon. So if you want a Porygon, you have to really work for it. And even in those games where you couldn't evolve it into a Porygon 2 until the post-game where the Johto Pokemon were introduced to the National Dex, it was a lot of work. But in Generation 4, I was really happy to see that Porygon 2 got an evolution. I really liked Porygon 2. I absolutely loved using it. But having it a little bit more competitive, I guess, a little bit more stronger, was really cool to see. So in Generation 4, this Porygon Z, when I was using it, I remember using it on Pokemon Battle Revolution for the Wii. Battle Revolution is a pretty subpar game, but it was cool seeing those Pokemon in 3D graphics, being able to verse people online without actually having to, exchange friend codes and all of that rubbish we had to deal with back in Nintendo's early online servers. But I remember a friend, but someone who was versing on an online forum on Aussie Nintendo, for anyone that was on there, shout out to Aussie Nintendo a few 10 so years ago. But I was versing someone, I think their username was Aerodrome, and he must have looked through my team after a battle and he said, "Why the hell are you using a jolly Porygon Z? And I'm like, I don't know. And honestly, I quite liked if it had a jolly nature, because I liked the idea of this Pokemon being like, having a jolly nature, being happy, being just full of energy. So I just read it having a jolly nature, be like, cool, it's got a jolly nature. That's nice. But what jolly nature means is that its special attack is down and its speed is up. So speed is up. That's always a good thing. But this is a special attacker. So you really don't want a special attack being down. So basically, my Porygon Z was hampered, and ever since then, ever since that was pointed out to me when I was relatively young, natures have always been on the backside of my head. And while that's a good thing, like sort of understanding the natures in the Pokemon games, making sure you have the right one for your team. In some ways, it kind of like it broke me for a little bit, because if I got a Pokemon that I really wanted that was quite rare, I'd sort of look at it and be like, it's got the wrong nature, I can't use it. And that sort of happened for the next few years, but I got rid of that, and that's why I especially like in the new games Mints how you can change the natures. You can put up with a bad nature until like a serious battle online or something comes around, and you can introduce it then. But Porygon Z was the Pokemon that introduced me to natures and a bit more serious breeding, and I guess having Pokemon that are a bit more competitive on the battlefield. So that's one of the memories I have of Porygon, but I especially like that it's just like it is like literally software. It's based off a computer program, and from Porygon, it's like it's outdated software, especially as time goes on. It gets upgraded through the upgrade item to become Porygon Z 2, sorry. But when it becomes Porygon Z, it's not so much of an upgrade. It's more of a virus that has affected it. And that's why if you see the animation in the games or Pokemon Go when it follows you as your buddy, it's always glitching out. It's just like acting erotic and not erotic. It's like Porygon Z is not erotic. Erratic. That's the word I'm looking for. But in a Pokemon Sword, its Pokedex, Porygon Z had a program installed to allow it to move between dimensions. The program also calls instability in Porygon's behavior. And in Pokemon Shield, some say an additional program made this Pokemon evolve, but academics can't agree whether Porygon Z is an evolution. And this is an interesting point to bring up, because with Porygon 2 compared to Porygon Z, they are both extremely viable Pokemon. Porygon 2 has like good special attack and all of that, but it's a bulky Pokemon. You can send it out, and especially with the Eviolite, which doubles its defenses, it can be a really great sort of stall Pokemon. You can send it out, it can set up Trick Room, it can stall your opponent. But with Porygon Z, its defense goes right down and its special attack goes right up. So it becomes more of a glass cannon. So these two Pokemon play very different roles in the metagame, and they're very different. So this is one of the Pokemon lines where I feel like they're different enough where you can actually warrant having both Pokemon. You don't really want to double up on normal types necessarily on your team, so you won't have both of them, and the rules probably won't allow you to do that anyway, but they're pretty much their own different Pokemon. The only other Pokemon I can sort of put in that sort of category is Pikachu with a light ball, but I can't really think of any other ones where you would like have a choice, like, should I evolve this Pokemon? I know there's like Dusclops where you can put like the Eviolite on and stuff like that as well. It's a little bit similar, but just the difference between stats, like they are different. They have different utilities in a competitive battle. But yeah, I've got a lot of positive memories of Porygon, and it's been my buddy Pokemon and Pokemon Go for ages. So I'll literally see it every day. And Porygon Z, it's not a very popular Pokemon. Whenever I bring it up, people are like, "Huh, really?" Like it's as far as I know, it's never been in the anime. It's never like a prominent trainer in just the region. Never really had one. So I don't know. It's up to me to sort of highlight Porygon Z's awesomeness. And if we ever just get like a different evolution, which is like a true Porygon 3 one day, which is like an upgrade to like, I guess, modern technology, that would be sick. I would love to see that personally. So fingers crossed. I don't know. Maybe even like a different regional form where there could be a region base that has better technology and something like that. I don't know. I'd love to see Porygon just improvised on anyway. Make it happen, Game Freak. Okay, so number one, and I didn't know where to put this, and I kind of maybe hinted at it with Latios in the past. Latios was one of my favorite Pokemon, but I couldn't include Latios and Latias in this list. But I decided on Latias as my number one favorite Pokemon for the whole series, and there's a few reasons for that. Much like Kyogre, was my first legendary encounter, and Latias was very much the same, finishing the game and having it as my first roaming Pokemon. And a lot of my friends, we finished the game at a similar time, and we heard about the Eon Pokemon, how it's roaming in the game, how we got to try and find it. And it was tough when you're a kid and like you're trying to like figure out the pattern of like its movement throughout the route. Like you check your Pokedex, you see what route it's on, you move route, and it would sort of move from bit to bit. And I would catch up with my friends, and we're all on hunts. So I'm going for Latias, and they're looking for Latios on their copy of Pokemon Ruby. I've just got such good memories of like, I know that it's there. And I remember the first time I was reading about it, I was like, it just, any route, I'm like, all right, I'll just wait till it naturally appears, and I'll try and catch it from there. I'll get it in my Pokedex when the hunt's on. And I was in I can't remember the exact route, the number route, but it was in the route with like the tall grass in the Hoenn region. And walking into the thing, I just saw the silhouette come across my screen. It was a lot bigger than, say, an Absol or Tropius or anything else in that sort of route, and it just came across my screen. And there it was. There was Latias for the very first time. Finally found it, and I was so excited. My heart was beating. I was like, oh my God, here it is, finally. And I threw a ball, it burst out straight away, and I'm like, all right, it's time to hunt this thing down. And doing that a couple of times, you're just like so scared of doing an attack on it, because if you kill it, it's gone for good. And unlike the other Pokemon, it's a bit harder to soft reset, unless you're saving all the time, which isn't that hard, mind you. You might potentially lose it, which would be just devastating, because I really wanted this Pokemon. So I guess that's like talking about, it was Golbat at the time, actually, not Crobat. Yeah, it would have turned into a Crobat, but Crobat with Mean Look. That was my strategy to lock it in so it can't escape. But hitting it with small attacks and gradually, finally getting it was one of my happiest memories in Pokemon. Well, not happiest memories, but it stands out a lot. One of the Pokemon I really wanted, and just from a design aspect, it's just so cute. I love it so much. And I think in the Pokemon movie, Pokemon Heroes, which I mentioned earlier about Latios, but just how sweet it is. Like, I don't know. A lot of these Pokemon on the list, I describe them as cool. And I think I wouldn't describe Latias as cool, but it's just such a sweet, like gentle, nice Pokemon. And using it in battle, it's just it was a real powerhouse. It wasn't as strong as Latios in the I guess attack and special attack department, but where it made up on that with its defense, so it was a bit more defensive. So got that is my memory of looking for Latias. And sort of later on when I discovered shiny Pokemon and stuff, I was looking at it shiny, and its shiny Pokemon is like a bright golden color. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I think in the original Ruby and Sapphire, I would absolutely love a shiny Latias. In the more recent games, being the 3D models, it's not quite as nice as shiny. It's not as like a vibrant gold, but it's still a really nice shiny. So honestly, Latias is like my dream shiny Pokemon. I want it a lot. I still haven't got one. And there was a moment in a Pokemon Go when I sort of just got back into it. There wasn't a whole lot of people playing in my town, but for a weekend or so, there was Latios and Latias raids, and I really wanted one so bad. I wanted to hunt the shiny. I just wanted one in general. I still don't have one because it hasn't come back since. But I couldn't find any friends. Couldn't find any friends to do Latias with, which was devastating. So I think I'll have to wait until next time. I'll get a shiny Latias. I want one in Pokemon Sword and Shield. I still haven't found it in the I guess the Dynamax dens. So yeah. But yeah, just really a deep nostalgia for finding it. I love the design. I love sort of the characteristics of it and all of that. But let's jump into some of the Pokedex entries. So this is the Eon Pokemon, as I discussed. And from Pokemon Ruby, Latias is highly sensitive to the emotions of people. If it senses any hostility, this Pokemon ruffles its feathers all over its body and cries shrilly to intimidate the foe. So the idea, like, it's funny because, like, even in the 3D models or the sprites, it doesn't look like it's got feathers. So that's kind of weird. That is weird. In Pokemon Sapphire, Latias is highly intelligent and incapable of understanding human speech. It is covered with a glass-like down. This Pokemon enfolds its body with its down and refracts light to alter its appearance. In Pokemon Emerald, they make a small herd of only several members. They rarely make contact with other people or Pokemon. They disappear if they sense enemies. So that's interesting. So in the actual canon games themselves, there are actually more than one. There you go. Because you only sort of think about it as like a Latias with a Latios, just like a brother and sister sort of thing. Yeah, and there's like their signature item as well, which can be held by either of them, being the Soldier. I think the whole idea is that like that was their parents, and like the soul of that Pokemon is into like an orb form, which they both hold. So there's like a lot of cool stuff with this legendary Pokemon. I think it's wonderful. I think it's just really cool. So I don't know if anyone else agrees with my list here. I think it's a bit of a hodgepodge of random Pokemon, but they all mean a lot to me. And I'm really happy you sat through all of this, listened to some of my favorite Pokemon. Hour and a half. Holy God. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm really sorry. But if you guys have any favorite Pokemon, I'd love to hear them. If you're watching the YouTube video, put them in the YouTube comments down below. And if you're listening on podcast services, feel free to at me, at iDruby on Twitter, or at the House of Mario. I'd love to know your favorite Pokemon. I think favorite Pokemon lists are so subjective, and why people have attachment to certain monsters comes down to just different life reasons. You know, someone might really like Licky Licky, and I'll be like, don't agree with you there, but man, fantastic stuff. So if you enjoyed this podcast, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and give us a follow on Twitter. This is where you can keep up with all of the House of Mario's sort of happenings, whether it's asking questions for the show, whether it's just keeping up to date with what shiny Pokemon I find on Pokemon Go and that. And of course, we have a Discord community. You can go and join our community full of Nintendo nuts. And you can even join this very podcast where we can talk about Pokemon together and be on the show, because the doors are always open to the House of Mario. Except for now, because I'm just about to shut the doors. So until next time, guys, the doors to the House of Mario are closed. Catch you later.